More now on the privacy showdown today on Capitol Hill between lawmakers and executives from Apple and Google. My next guest is Ted Morgan. He's the CEO and founder of Skyhook. His company has been a pioneer in location-based services for mobile phones and says there is a way to collect location data without compromising users' privacy. That's really basically the subject of this hearing today. Also joining me is a privacy expert on the legal side, Proskauer Rose partner Kristen Mathews. Great to have both of you on. Ted, let me just start with you, because I just want to make sure I get this clear. You're saying that basically the location-based technology, right, that you developed it in a way that wouldn't compromise users' privacy, but that Apple and Google went another way. Why did they go another way?
Well, I think Apple has publicly stated that they had some bugs in their system that they're unhappy with, and they've fixed them in the past couple of weeks. We strongly believe you can run all these location services and provide a great system for users without tracking users over time. And as you track devices over time, that's where you really expose yourself to this privacy risk.
But isn't that the issue for Apple and Google, is that they do want to track what users are doing because they can get that data and then sell it or use it?
Absolutely, and there's a tremendous amount of value in that for advertising, for retail store planning, for traffic management, but all that can be obtained without tracking the history of users. You can do it at an anonymous level, something that we've done for years, and something we encourage these other companies to do as well. And Apple has said they don't track users. Google has said they track it with an anonymous ID, and that to us is the same as tracking users.
Okay, I want to get back to the issue of doing it anonymously, but let me, Kristen, just bring you into this. What's so wrong with tracking this data? I mean, do consumers really not want this?
Well, that's a funny question. Every time we see one of these privacy debacles in the news, we have a whole bunch of people out there who say, why does everyone care? I don't care. This is perfectly fine with me. And then we have a whole other set of consumers out there who are deeply offended by it. It really depends on you.
It does, but it strikes me, though, that this is a small group of, or smaller group of people who are unhappy with this, speaking for a larger, benign group of consumers. Am I wrong on this?
I don't know that you're wrong. I do hear a lot of people scratching their heads wondering, why is Congress so upset about this? As an example, a lot of people are looking at the maps that are generated by this data and are, having a nice walk down memory lane looking at where they've been for the last year.
Okay. Ted, as you mentioned earlier, you said there's a way to do this anonymously, right? The way to collect this data anonymously. So if there is a way to do that, why aren't Apple and Google doing it?
Because, well, Apple says they are doing it the right way. Google wants to track your usage over time so that they can learn more about you. It's a whole lot easier to monetize this data when you maintain the full history of a user. But it also exposes you to a privacy risk. Most people think it's interesting to see where you've been over time as part of a trip down memory lane. But would you really like that if it got into the wrong hands? Would you really like that if you were in a divorce dispute or some other kind of issue with the law? This is the kind of stuff people are worried about, and if we're careful, we can do both. We can get the value out of this data without intruding on people's lives.
But is there a way, Ted, to make the money, to attract the partners, like Groupon and others who like this data? Is there a way to do that without compromising those privacy issues? Or do you have to do that in order to make the money?
No, absolutely. We firmly believe if you, as long as you don't maintain the full history of an individual user, we maintain 500,000 location requests every single day, but we don't attach that to users or devices, and we can still monetize that data by showing it at an aggregate level to advertisers, so that they know where people are throughout the day, what type of people are on the street corner, but they don't need to know about you individually and your name, and that's what we're trying to prevent.
Kristen, what do you think then would be a good compromise then? From the lawmaker side, from the consumer side, what would then be a compromise?
Giving people more conspicuous notice about what exactly these companies are doing. Right now, these companies are being honest with their customers about what they're doing. If you read the privacy policy, you'll find out. But you have to read the policies in order to find this out, and a lot of people don't. Most people don't. Being more conspicuous with companies.
So just more transparent about it.
More transparent. And and also giving people the opt-out. These companies already give their customers the ability to opt out of having this happen.
I mean, personally, I think part of this is just that people didn't know that they could opt out, and so now that they know, maybe that in some ways can alleviate some of these problems. But Kristen, thank you very much. I really appreciate
my pleasure.
You stopping by. Ted Morgan, thank you as well, the CEO and founder of Skyhook.